Hi there, we are at iATL, and joining me is Winter Horbal, and she is with Temple, and you have been a big part of this. This autonomous vehicles is one subject, and then you have the connectability of cars to cars, cars to traffic signals. I got to ask you about autonomous vehicles, because this is technology we're hearing about. It's being put on the roads now. It's being tested. Well, not even tested. It's their applications.
Yes.
How do you make autonomous vehicles a reality? How do you make this actually something we use all the time?
Yes, well, and if we go into it, autonomous vehicles is a little different than on the connected side. I mean, we will need to go fully autonomous. We will need that connectivity part where it's connected from the vehicles to the vehicles to the infrastructure and stuff. I actually get to drive a semi-autonomous vehicle at the moment to help socialize the technology, as we say. So we take anyone who needs to, because at one time, I actually was a person who was against autonomous vehicles, even in the traffic industry.
I was going to say there are people who are against them, and you were in the traffic industry,
Yep, and the reason being is because I wasn't educated on it. I had never been in one. I'd been in an autonomous shuttle. I know how that works. They're mapped out. They can't change lanes and stuff. They stay in their lane, and they take people around. But as a traffic engineer, I'd never been in a vehicle that you could actually drive off of a lot yourself and put it into an autonomous mode and let it drive for you. And to be honest, I am an engineer. I'm a type A, so I like a sense of control. I don't want something else driving for me.
Right.
As most of us, we think we're the best drivers in the world, and so we want to be in control completely, and that's how I was. And so I was against autonomous vehicles until probably about 3.5 years ago. Brian got this hair of an idea to say, we're in the traffic industry. If we're going to try to do something about autonomous vehicles, I kind of need to drive one. And at the time, and still to this day, it seems like Tesla does have the best semi-autonomous. Other auto manufacturers are getting there,
right?
Especially with their watching what lanes you're in, making sure you're staying in your lane, keeping you from hitting people. That is all autonomous features in a vehicle. So he's like, let me take you on it. Let me show you. And within 10 minutes, it was a shock to me at how I just didn't even realize that this car was driving us while we're having a conversation. And so then I just was like, I need to know more. I need to be educated on it. So what we started doing is we started calling it socializing the technology. If I was a traffic engineer and thought I knew some things about autonomous vehicles and this whole connected world industry, then if I missed out and didn't know that, then there are many others out there who also doesn't know. And even still to this day, even some of my family members don't understand autonomous vehicles and where we are today with them and how quickly we are moving in the future. And what I found, especially after driving it now I've probably been driving a Tesla now for over 1.5 years, it is so much safer. And if we all could get in these type of cars and the automotive industry get there like they are moving in that direction, we can all start being safer on our roadways and saving these almost 40,000 people that we're killing every year.
How is it safer? Explain to me. You're in the car. We mentioned Brian. That would be Brian Milligan, and he is big. I tease him. I still need my ride.
Yes.
He said, anytime you want hands-free driving,
we got to tell him you need to have that whole socializing the technology experience.
But he said it's not as weird as you think. He said you don't just you just don't chill out, like you look around and eat and drink. And I said waving at people. He said, still want to pay attention because there is still the human factor.
So autonomous driving has kind of been out there anyway. If you look into the plane, the commercial jets and stuff.
Right, autopilot.
Yeah, because they have a pilot and they have a co-pilot. So at any given time, you have two people at one time driving, basically. So if the car I'm in, if my autonomous vehicle, if it feels comfortable with what's going on in its surrounding area, it's going to let me know that it can take over and it can drive autonomously. Now, if it doesn't feel comfortable, it is going to alert me and ask that I take over, which makes me the pilot. It's still being the co-pilot. So it's still watching my area and giving me more information and feedback to help me be a safer driver as the pilot, and it's the co-pilot. But if it feels comfortable, it's going to tell me that it can take over on the pilot side, but I have to remain as a co-pilot. I have to be ready to take over. There are going to be some instances where it's going to alert me and say, I don't feel comfortable, I need you to take over. And then you'll just take over.
So we're talking with iATL. We are now equipping traffic lights and signals and everything else. So for instance, if you take your Tesla into the city of Marietta, they have this apparently all over the city.
Yes.
Would your car drive for you?
So,
Well,
right, and my car will. Now, what Marietta has done, in being the first, and has had this technology out there for 2 years now, and this is where I'll tell you how we can make this a reality, and even where I come into as Temple, we're a channel partner with Brian and Applied Information and stuff, but what they have is the connectivity part.
Okay.
So now we are, instead of just an autonomous vehicle with all its sensors on the car and it's doing its thing as much as it can, now if we start connecting the infrastructure, the traffic signals, the school zone flashers and stuff to that car, then it can start getting even at a higher level of autonomy where it can start driving better because you have an infrastructure, you have a traffic signal that's saying in 3 seconds I'm going to turn green. So it's going to be able to prepare that car to get ready to go and watch its surrounding and things like that. Or it's going to tell it it's about to turn red. So you're having, and we kind of also call it this second layer of safety because the autonomous vehicles are still trying to move forward with being able to see signals and everything just like we see them. Stop signs. Like today on my way over, I shouldn't say this, but I rolled through a stop sign and my car alerted me. Because it was very upset. It was like letting me know,
right,
this is a stop sign. So I'm in that beta testing with this car where it's seeing that stop sign, and eventually it will be able to see it just like we do. And that's why we call them semi-autonomous, because they're not full autonomous yet. They can't truly drive like we can yet. But with this connectivity part, we can start giving information, and also that's connecting vehicle to the infrastructure, which what we call V2I. We have the vehicle to vehicle. So then we can start talking vehicle to vehicle and saying you're getting too close to me or what have you. And even if, say, we aren't looking or aren't paying attention and our car starts going over, both cars are talking to one another and it's telling you get back in your lane.
Right.
And, oh, I'm over here. So that's where this connectivity, and then even connecting, the connectivity to the vulnerable road users, so pedestrians, cyclists and stuff. So for instance, I live in Gwinnett County on Berkeley Lake. I live on a road that cyclists love. It's curvy, hilly, all that.
I know it well.
Yep. And my biggest distraction is my 6-year-old. And if we're coming home from school, she's like, Mommy, look at me, look at what I did. I'm like, honey, I'm driving. And if I'm on that road, those curves are over 90 degrees as far as a turn, and I can't see around them. And at any given time, I have to remember there might be a cyclist around there. Well, with connected technology, I could be alerted, or my vehicle eventually could be alerted, beep, 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 cyclist ahead, even though I don't even see them.
Right.
And it could alert that cyclist via phone or whatever other onboard unit that they're carrying. It can alert them, beep, 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 fast approaching car. It's another layer of safety that we actually get to say, well, what should we do? I need to be more alert, slow down. The cyclist can make a decision if they want to get off the road, because as you know, we have no right of way there or anything like that.
Right.
So very small. So that's where the autonomous and the connected vehicles together, though, bridging that together, we're going to come more to truly our cars can be driving for us.
That's amazing technology. We look forward to the future. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.